guys, this is Aathira. So we have already watched a video previously on the first two parts of the book, Friends and Influence People. So that part includes the fundamental techniques of handling people and the ways to make people like you. So as I've said already, I've made another part of the book which talks about the principles about how to win people to your way of thinking. So before I start with the video, I wanted you people to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done it and to click on the bell icon so you can get notified whenever I post a video. So the first principle as said by this part is the only way to get the best out of an argument is to avoid it. So we mostly argue for everything. As said by Buddha, hatred can never be ended by hatred and it can be done only with love. So through hatred, through an argument, you make the another person inferior. So it can become a cause for the person to dislike you. So how to stop a disagreement into an argument? So they have said some few tips to stop the thing right there and not taking them to an argument. So the first step includes not to lose temper, that you should not lose temper when you argue on something. Sometimes your opponent may be right as well. So always listen to them, listen more effectively. So if they come some point in the argument that you have no idea about, make sure you thank them because they have taught you something that is very much new to you. So the first principle is the only way to win an argument is to avoid it. The next principle is to show some respect for the people's opinion. They always make sure that what they say is right rather than giving a ear to the person and listening what they actually have to say. So never say you are wrong to any person. Through that way you might make a person so inferior. Be diplomatic in handling such situations. You may know that some person is wrong and if you really want to teach them, tell in a way that they actually agree to, they actually learn it from you. So you have to make use of your words in a wise way. So the next principle is if you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. So we know like most of the time we don't agree to the mistakes that we are made, but this book suggests us to get the satisfaction of agreeing to our mistakes. This book is asking us to develop a courage to admit our errors, to have a satisfaction, a fulfillment of saying that I am wrong. So this principle says if you are wrong, admit it quickly and empathetically. The next principle suggests us to start in a friendly way. As said by Abraham Lincoln, a drop of honey can catch more flies than a gallon of gall. It is always the kindness and your friendly approach that attracts people, that makes people like you. So if you wanted to grab people by your way of thinking, make sure you begin with a friendly and kindliness approach. The next principle is one of the interesting principles of this part. So this principle talks about the secret of Socrates. So we all know who Socrates is. So he is one of the most well-known philosophers of the world and till now he is regarded as one of the most wisest pursuers. So what did he do? So Socrates always practiced a SS response. So this response is later called as the Socratic method. So what does this SS method mean? So in this method you ask people in a way where they reply only with S's. So you find a person wrong and if they don't agree with you normally, then go and ask questions that they will answer, they will respond with only yes. The more you receive the S as a response to any questions, the person will automatically think or it will automatically lead a conclusion that he accepts. At the end of asking questions and gathering most of the SS responses, you can find your opponent who doesn't agree to your point will come to a conclusion that you are right within a very few minutes. So make sure you get the other person say SS immediately. But make a note that this can be possible only with your wise questions. So now let's move on to the next principle. This principle of this part suggests us to let the other person have some talking sometimes, because we always think that we must step forward and do all the talkings every time. This principle says that our opponent may have some information that we need as well. It is not always necessary to all the talkings by ourselves and we can give this great deal of talking to the other person as well. The next principle tells that let the other person think that your idea is his or hers, because it is always a matter of making the work done rather than having a huge argument which is totally unnecessary. We have shared some examples for this, and I have took one example which will be so easy for us, so easy to understand. So this is a story of a girl. So this girl is a history graduate. So her mother has always dreamed of traveling all the historical places, and it is very much sure for many of us that we don't enjoy traveling to all those historical places, all those monuments, but her mother has always dreamt of traveling all around. They were thinking about how to make their daughter agree to this trip. Her father makes use of this principle to make her agree to it. So how did he do it? Her father went and said her in a way that this trip is actually made for her, and made her think that it is for her own good. So through this principle, rather than making other person think in your way, you can make them feel that the plan is actually theirs. So the next principle says that if you follow this one formula, then you're gonna have wonders in your life. So what does this principle is all about? It tells us to try honestly to see the things in the way of other person's point of view. Rather than complaining another person, try to think why did they do that and what is the need for them to make such a cause. So if for example you can think in the way of an interviewer, so why should they recruit you? So through this way you know what their need is, and that might find some good wonders in your life. So always try to see things in the way of other person's point of view. So the next principle says to be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. So if you find someone in a wrong state or a wrong place, rather than complaining them, rather than saying that you are wrong, tell them that you can understand how they have felt or how they have reacted in such situation, and it is common, or you can give some words of kindness to him, because through the words of kindness you can have the satisfaction of controlling your temper. So even if you think that it is impossible for you to be polite, give yourself some time to think about why the other person did it, and you can gradually make them feel important. Be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. So next principle talks about the appeal that everyone likes about. So this is to always consider the other person that they are honest, fair and upright, because we don't want a person to be judged or make them feel guilty. So always think the person is honest and upright. It doesn't cost you anything after all. So now let's move on to the next principle. So this principle is being followed up in movies, TV, advertisements. What is this principle is about, and why are they asking us to follow this in our life? So the principle is to dramatize your ideas. So we can find an advertisement in the television and we can analyze how much they are dramatizing to make the product sell to us. So why not try this same principle? Because people understand better when you show them in action rather than words. So always dramatize your ideas. So now we have reached the final part of the video, which says when nothing else works, why not you try this? So yes, what should we try? So if you wanted to get things done, make sure you throw a challenge, a competition on yourself. So this competition will help you in a way to excel in all your desires. So every person who succeeded big in their life would always love the game of life, the game of winning, the game of excelling in their desires. So why not you try the same by challenging yourself, making yourself get into a competition and working on it, and through this way you can definitely gonna succeed. So we are still left with one more part of the book, and I hope this book give you much more information from the last 3 parts. The last part of the video will be out very soon. Until then, read, write and repeat.